So coming out of a relationship is never easy. And especially, like, let's say that you start getting into your 30s, your 40s, your 50s, and so on, right? It doesn't mean that there's anything flawed with you at all. It really doesn't, okay? And this is coming from a healthy individual, they just assume that you're healthy. And, if you're still single at that age, it doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you, okay? There's things like what I have seen with people is that they have something called compassion fatigue. And what that is yeah, combination with bitterness, but also they just dealt with so much breakups at in so many intervals that they kind of like gave up in a way, in which you shouldn't. But it's normal to feel that way, especially someone that gave so much and they never received anything back. They tend to have that compassion fatigue, okay, and that somewhat bitterness. And but besides that too, it's not so much of being bitter, if that makes sense, because at the same time you're building standards, and a lot of people become picky over time because they dealt with these failed relationships and they're really just being standoffish in a way. It's okay to be kind of like question things and stuff like that. You have to protect yourself, right? And it's at the same time, though, here's the thing: it's safe to trust with the right people. But a lot of people just assume that the other person's going to be bad, just because of the past experience, whether they dealt with someone toxic, narcissistic, just someone that just didn't work out for them, and it because they gave their all. And I understand that. But it is okay to be vulnerable over time, though, to the right person who actually displays consistency with their behavior that's positive, and most importantly, like they show you the compassion and they give you that feeling of genuine love back. That's super important to pay attention to, as long as it's really consistent. As long as the good outweighs the bad, then everything's gonna be okay. Give it a shot. And a lot of people that have been through a lot of trauma or like a lot of things in the past, then that's different. Like, you need to take your time until you're ready to date. You just can't assume that everyone's bad just because your past experiences. And so I wanted to throw that out there. It's normal to feel lonely. We're human. We're meant to be with tribes, if we want to go back in the old days, and everything, and you can't just exist solely on your own. A lot of people want to claim that I'm independent, this and that, but at the same time, you need services. At the same time, you need someone on your side when you feel down, like your best friend or your family member that's always there for you. So, you don't always do things alone. And feeling lonely, like I said, it's normal to feel that way. But, just open up to the right people. And that would alleviate the loneliness, and just give things a shot, It just be careful. Just take your past experiences, write it down, what things that trigger you, write down things that make you happy within a person, and go from there. And can the world be cruel sometimes? Yes, the world could be cruel and scary, but not everyone is cruel or bad in this world either. You have to think about it this way. It's someone was raised by their parents with good morals and values and ethics and if more than anything, compassion and empathy. And you probably have that your last relationship. You're scared or it just didn't work out, and it's scary to re-engage again, out in the dating scene. But there are good people, and it's okay to take your time and not rush in a new relationship, and take your time to get to know their person, thoroughly. And a lot of the mistakes that people do is like they get excited about a person and then they want to jump into that relationship right away just to know that they're not the person who they represented to be, And that's why it's always crucial, like when you're dating again, to take your time take all your past experiences and then analyze it, and then know what you want, know what you really want in a partner and what you don't want in a partner, you know, because there's going to be certain things that trigger you. And so when those trigger happen, just make sure that consistency is there, where they're really treating you well, because arguments do happen in any relationship. Okay, fallouts do happen in every relationship. That is extremely normal. It doesn't have to get to a point where it's abusive. Once it starts getting to a point where it's abusive, then that's when you really should, consider stepping out if you have to. But you have the option. It's early enough, and you put your past experiences together and how to get out of that relationship. All right, swift and clean, with no trouble, the most minimal trouble that you can possibly have, And all those past relationships, good or bad, believe it or not, they shaped you to be kind of who you are today. It gave you a lot of strength, because you know what a heartache felt like. A lot of people know what it's like being cheated on. Some people broke up in good terms, believe it or not, and they're still friends, and it was a good experience, but it just didn't work out because things weren't aligning. And I'll be honest too, one of the biggest things you can go through in life are breakups, for sure. Let's put it this way, it kind of feels like you're dying after a breakup, because you cared so much about someone. But the fact that you had that capacity to love is a gift. People don't have that capacity to actually feel genuine love, and that's a fact. Talking about narcissists, toxic people, because they lack the empathy. But the fact that you're able to give and not just take, that's a gift. And this is why you probably already stood out. And a lot of people don't realize what they have in front of them and within, and like I said, it doesn't mean that you're flawed just because you're single. It just means that you're prepping for the next big thing, and that person can potentially be your partner for the rest of your life. Just be patient.